Hello, my name is Jessi, and I'm here with Hands to Heart Center for a mindful moment. I'm glad you're spending a few moments with us. So Hands to Heart Center is an organization in the Boston area. It's a nonprofit that focuses on delivering healing to populations all across the area, and doing that through offering yoga and mindfulness and practices that can be very restorative for people. And so today we're going to spend some time in a practice that is focused on the breath, which is a really foundational part of mindfulness training or practice. And so I'll share everything you need to know. And in the meantime, see if you can find a posture that's going to suit you for today. Really, the best thing is someplace where you find comfort, and that you can have that comfort while still being alert and at ease. So I'm standing today, and so I'm really feeling my body symmetrically with 2 feet on the ground, and my knees are relaxed, my shoulders down, arms just by the sides. If you're sitting, you might notice what parts of your body are touching the chair, and see if those areas, those touch points, can really support you in whatever posture you're choosing. And if you're lying down, can the cushions, can the floor, wherever you are, can that be supportive of you just letting the body be at ease? So whatever you're choosing should be the utmost comfort and ease for your particular body in this particular moment. And take a few deep breaths in and out, maybe in and out through the nose. Really feeling yourself fill up with air. So chest rises, ribs expand, belly fills as you inhale. And on the exhale, you can imagine the whole body just deflating a bit as you release, and there's some relaxation. So these deep breaths at the beginning of our time together can be a way to settle, can be a way to relax a little bit. Also reconnect with the body. I know for me, I spend so much time thinking in my head, intellectually doing things, and so it's easy to forget that I'm being held up by this body and it is connected to me. And so the breath is a bridge between the head and the rest of us. And so I really like to use it as a way to settle myself, regulate the body a little bit. My mind might still be very active, but I'm just getting some awareness of the rest of my body. So take another moment or two just settling with deep breaths at your own pace, in and out through the nose. And see if your next breath can be slightly deeper, slightly slower, more expansive than the one that came before it. Even if it's just 1% more of those things, that's plenty. And if these deep breaths feel good to you, you can keep them going. You could let the breath release and just breathe on its own. If you find it comfortable to close the eyes, feel free to do that. We'll just quickly scan through our bodies, starting with the head, moving down the neck and shoulders. Can anything be a little softer or more released than it is? Arms at ease, hands relaxed, no need to hold on to anything. Belly soft, not held if possible. Feeling the weight of our core, the hips, the pelvis, abdomen area. Can this be heavy, at ease? And as your attention shifts down into your legs, knees soft, feet resting on the ground. And if there's any area of the body that you notice could soften a little bit more, go ahead and invite that to happen. And so we'll spend a little bit of time with the breath. There's nothing to do. The instruction is simply just to notice the breath. And so the breath is our anchor here. And there are some reasons when you might not use the breath as an anchor, so I'll offer a couple words and suggestions about that. So if the breath for some reason is not neutral to you, and this can be for absolutely any reason, but some might include allergies or a cold, asthma, trauma related to the breath, feeling as if something I've experienced. I'm a flutist, I'm a yoga practitioner, I'm an athlete, so I'm often doing something with my breath. Like there's a real intentional activity around breathing. And it's taken me years to learn to follow the breath, that I don't need to do anything with it. And sometimes it still feels really inaccessible to be an observer of my breath. So that's a reason sometimes for me the breath doesn't feel neutral. So really any reason, if the breath doesn't feel neutral to you, you can take your home base, your anchor, to something else. So a suggestion of what that might be: sounds, just the sounds that are happening around you, you'll be noticing them, or the feeling of the hands, the palms, just the sensation of the two hands can be a place to rest attention. So the anchor or home base is just simply where you're going to rest attention. That's going to be the breath. But if the breath for any reason doesn't feel neutral to you, then it would be appropriate to choose sounds or the hands, or two other options of places you'll just continue to bring your attention. So knowing your anchor, the anchor that you'd like to try, this will be concentrating our attention in that place, the breath, or if you've chosen something like hands or sounds, you can do that as well. And the mind will wander. You will get distracted by a story or something you hear or a feeling of hunger. And then when you notice that, that's the moment of mindfulness. It's a celebration, and you just come back to the anchor. So if you're using the breath, see maybe starting by just noticing the breath where it feels most apparent to you. Is that the nostrils, the air coming in and out? The rise and fall of the chest, expansion in the belly. Just notice, where do you feel the breath most? And if you're not using the breath as an anchor, you're just simply noticing the hands. How do my hands feel? What sensations are there? Or if you're using sounds, what are the sounds like in my environment? Just simply washing over you. So when you determine where your breath feels the most present for you, that's where you can try and rest your attention. And just see one cycle of breath. Can I keep my attention in this place? If I've chosen the belly, can I keep my attention, the rise and fall of the belly? And if you get one breath, you try a second, you try a third. And when you notice you're no longer focusing on the breath, it's totally fine. You celebrate that moment, that noticing. That's your mindful awareness. And you just come back and check out the breath. Where is it now? Can you follow another cycle of inhale and exhale? Can you keep your attention with that anchor, with the breath or with the hands or the sounds if you've chosen those? And can you just follow that experience? One breath, maybe two, maybe three. And as many times as you need, you just bring your awareness right back to the breath. It's always there for you. There's an analogy that training the attention to stay on the breath is like training a puppy. And you want to think about this as like the happiest puppy. You're just going to continue to remind it, continually remind. We're going back to the breath now. We're going back to the breath. With kindness, with ease, the way you would treat the happiest, most loving puppy that you were trying to train. Return again and again to your anchor. When you've found the place of the breath that feels the most present, you could also try noticing the stages of breath, the beginning, the middle, and the end of your in-breath, and then the beginning, middle, and end of your out-breath. So you might find that having these stages of breath can be helpful in focusing your attention. And we'll stay for a few more moments. Always returning to the breath. And you find yourself noticing a thought, a sensation, a story, planning, worry, anticipation, or remembering something, fantasizing about something. All that is just our natural mind. It's what happens. And so the practice of mindfulness is just seeing that and training ourselves in a little bit of concentration here with the breath. Return to the breath over and over. And you could return to the stages of the breath, the part of the breath that feels most present to you. You might even find it helpful to count a couple breaths. And as we start to wrap up our practice together, take a moment first to thank yourself for trying this, for engaging in it. And second, to see, how did it feel for you? What were your reactions to focusing on the breath or another anchor of choice? And how do you feel now as a result of having spent some time gathering the attention? Just noticing your experience and always coming back to an anchor as a place to rest and gather. When you feel ready, if the eyes have been closed, you might open them. You lift your attention away from the breath and back into the space around you. You might look around the room, rub the hands together, or stretch a little bit just to reorient yourself. And know that anytime you are looking to feel a bit more concentrated or gather your presence or be a little bit more grounded, even 1 or 2 cycles of attention on the breath, seeing if you can keep your concentration with the breath, can be something that is really, really helpful. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you for the next mindful moment.